Hello guys, welcome to Hankins Custom Rifles and another episode of Hanks TV. Today is July the 14th, 2019. It is 12 o'clock midday and it is going to get up to 90 degrees today. It's probably pretty close to that right now out there in the sun, but right now we've still got the shade from these trees and the sun has not gotten up and over us yet. So we're still in the shade. It's fairly, I would like to say, comfortable here. We've got a little bit of a breeze blowing now and then. Right now it is almost dead calm. Maybe the wind has stopped for the day. I don't know. It was a little breezy when we first got here. But we've got a gun on the bench. We're going to do some test firing, and I need to get this done so I can ship it off to the customer today. And what we've got here is one of my standard muzzleloader builds. It's built on a Remington 700 Action that has had the bolt handle timed correctly. I have removed the handle, moved it forward about 30 thousandths, and re-welded it back on. I don't silver solder them back on. When I replace the handles, I TIG weld them on so that they're never going to come off on you guys. You don't ever have to worry about them breaking. The barrel is my standard number 17 contour Brooks barrel that's been fluted. And we've got my standard radial style muzzle brake out there on the front. We do have the new style barrel band on this gun that is made to fit a particular barrel at a particular spot. So depending on how long you make your barrel to which one of these barrel bands you would use. And it has the complete ramrod kit system, retaining system, and all that in the gun. We have an ADL style trigger guard here that was machined in my shop. And we have a jewel trigger on this gun. The stock is a Manners T5A. A meaning it is adjustable, the 5 is the thumb hole, and pretty much our standard stock here with the custom paint job on it. I'm doing all my own paint jobs now so that when I get the rifle completely finished, I can touch up and fix anything on the stock that needs a little bit of TLC. Sometimes we get these stocks in, they're not just exactly perfect, or they fit, the action sits down in them too far or whatever, and if we run into that problem now, I just fix it and the stock gets painted. So that makes for a much better quality build when it's completely finished. When you look over it, you don't see all these little things, that just little nitpicky things that I don't like to see. Some people may never see it, some might see it and it don't bother them, but I'm pretty particular about what I'm putting out on my shop. And I like all that stuff to be fixed. The Picatinny rail here is a steel Picatinny rail that's been drilled and tapped with 2 extra screws. So that means it's got 6 screws holding it down now. It's got Night Force 6-hole Picatinny style rings. And the scope is a Night Force NXS 5.5 to 22 power. So that's a really nice scope on this gun. And we're going to go ahead and shoot it a little bit, try to get it sighted in, and see what kind of groups we can generate with this rifle today. So give us just a few minutes. I got to put my dogs in the truck and start it up and let the truck run so they can sit in air conditioning. It's too hot to leave them in the truck without it running, and the guns are too loud to leave them out while we shoot them. So we never leave the dogs out while we're shooting the guns. We got to put them away. So when we get that done, I'll be back with you guys here in just a few minutes. Okay guys, we're back. I got the dogs put up. The truck is running with the air conditioner on, so it must be nice for them to just sit in the AC all day. But we've got the gun loaded. I've bore sighted it already. We're close to being on the target with it sitting in the bag. I've already looked through the scope and got everything sighted in, ready to go here. And I forgot to tell you what we are shooting though is the Pittman AccuMax bullets. These are the 275 grain. It is the bullet of choice for me, either the AccuMax or the AeroMax, the Pittman bullet line. There's been all kinds of bullets made and tested for these smokeless muzzle loaders, and these right here are by far the most accurate bullet that you can buy for these guns. So there are some cheaper bullets that you can use just for plinking. They'll shoot good for 100, 200 yards. They'll even kill deer at reasonable ranges, but if you really want super accuracy and long range, you want to buy these Pittman bullets here from pittmanbullets.com. And just buy the best and don't even think about the rest. Just move on over the top of them. This bullet's been copied by another guy and the reports I'm getting is that copycat bullet does not shoot nearly as good as the Pittman bullets. I've never shot any of the copycat bullets, so I don't know from personal experience. I probably never will shoot any of them, but from the reports I'm getting, the X series copycat bullet is nowhere near what this bullet is right here. Kyle Pittman is the guy that did all the work, the development on these bullets. I think that you guys should support him and give him the credit for making the bullets for our muzzle loaders that we all need and want today, and support him 100% if at all possible. Now we're going to move on. We're shooting 78 grain charge of IMR 4198. That is also my favorite load. I'm going to tell you, when you buy a rifle from me to shoot a 275 grain bullet and 78 grains of IMR 4198, it don't get much better than that. It don't get much easier than that. There are a lot of other loads that you can use, a lot of other powder charges, a lot of different weights, different bullets. There's a lot of variables that you can do, and they still work just as well. But this one right here is what I recommend you start out with. It's easy. You're going to get 1-inch groups right off the bat at 100 yards out of a muzzle loader, and that's almost unheard of. So we're going to move on. Y'all know the primer modules here are my original style primer modules. They shoot large rifle magnum primers. They're made to go into a tapered pocket on a breech plug so that it seals off 100% like a rifle cartridge would do in a chamber. This here has also been copied and tried to be duplicated by another guy on the market, and it's not nearly as effective or efficient as my original system. So there again, I would urge you guys to support me and buy the original. Save yourself some money. Mine is cheaper than the other guys, so why pay more money and buy a lesser product? So support the guys out there that's done the homework, spent the time and the effort to develop all this stuff, and we will stay in business and keep developing and doing more homework for you guys. So just remember that to keep your support where it needs to be. But we're going to move on, and we're going to shoot this target down here. We're going to see what we can get on a bore sight. I'm going to put the primer in place, and it's that easy to put it in there. The gun is already loaded. So let's move on down here. We're going to shoot at 100 yards. Okay, and I see the bullet hole, so we're going to chase the crosshairs down to the bullet hole and make a scope adjustment, and then we'll be able to start shooting for our first group. Okay, that adjustment right there should get us pretty much on the dot for our next shot. Now, as you guys know, whenever you come to the range, you try to remember everything, but you almost always forget something. And today I forgot the loading funnel for this gun. So we're just going to have to load it the old-fashioned way and take the muzzle brake off each time we load today. I've got the funnel sitting on the bench with all the rest of this guy's stuff to be packed up and go out, and it's just one of those things that we ran off and forgot this morning. And it's an hour's drive to come to the range, so I am not going to go back to the house or to the shop to pick up the funnel. So we're going to start the bullet in there, and these were sized for a clean barrel. Once it gets fouled a little bit, they may go down a little harder. That one went down really nice. We'll put the brake back on. I did remove the front studs off of the forearm for two reasons. One, it keeps from tearing up your front bag, and it also helps for accuracy, because when it recoils and that front stud rides up your bag, it makes your gun move around, do some funky things that it wouldn't normally do when the studs are gone. I'm going to set that primer over here because I know it's been shot. Put another one in here. And we're going to shoot at the bottom target out there. It's got a single dot on it. Okay, and we hit the dot on the second shot. The first shot was about 8 inches high and 3 or 4 inches to the right, and by chasing the crosshairs down to the bullet impact from the very first shot, the second shot got me on the dot at 100 yards. Another thing, fellas, today is not the greatest day to be at the range and test fire guns because it is so warm outside. It's so hot. The barrels won't cool down. I honestly believe your accuracy suffers on a hot summer day versus a cool spring day or a fall day, or even in the wintertime when it's cold outside. I really think your rifles shoot better in cooler weather than they do when it's super hot outside. That's just my personal opinion. Others may vary, but that's what I have come to find out over the years of test firing guns on hot days and test firing guns on cool days. They always seem to just be a little bit more cooperative on a cool day. Now I'm being extra careful to try to avoid the rifling around this crown because I don't have the muzzle brake on when I'm pushing the bullet down. You could replace the muzzle brake before you push your bullet down. As long as that muzzle brake's on there, there's no way your ramrod can touch the crown. So you're protected. Your muzzle brake protects your crown. But if you pay attention to what you're doing, be extra careful. You don't really need to worry about it. You just don't want to run that ramrod up and down the rifling at the end of your barrel. Okay, shot number 2 is touching shot number 1. And only 3 shots and I can feel some heat building up in this barrel. So like I said, on a day like today, you just can't get the heat out of the barrels fast enough. You could use a cool rod, put it down the barrel and wait 5 or 10 minutes between every shot, but I don't have an hour to waste to try to shoot all 6 shots today. We're going to just shoot this gun, get it sighted in, and verify the accuracy so that I can get it shipped out. We may only shoot it 4 times all day, and when I test fire rifles, I'm not down here to shoot the guy's gun 100 times and wear it out. The only thing I want to do when I test fire a gun is get it sighted in for him. The barrel is getting a little fouled, making it a little harder to push that bullet down. But if you guys can see my new ramrods here, got this big handle on it, gives you plenty of power. This is a solid rod, it screws together. This is the first time I used it. I just got these done this week, so seems to me like it's going to work out pretty good. Okay, let's get ready for the 3rd shot for the group and see what we can do here. Okay, now that shot right there, I felt it when I pulled the trigger. It's still within an inch. Group at 100 yards, it's less than an inch. It's still on the orange dot, but it's not touching the other 2. And I could tell, I knew when I pulled my trigger that it was going to be off a little bit. And when you're trying to shoot groups that tight, everything you do makes a difference. You have to have your head on your cheek, on your stock exactly the same. You've got to have your eye in the same spot in the scope. You've got to have everything the same. It has to feel exactly like the last shot, or it's not going to go where the last shot went. But that's 3 shots out of this gun. This gun is finished. It's ready to be packed up and go to the customer. We'll go down there and look at the target and show you guys what we did down there. So other than that, we'll be down at the target just a second and we'll take a quick look. Okay guys, we're down here at the target and I brought the rifle down like I normally do so you guys can get a good look at it in the sunlight. It's got a Cerakoted barrel and action on it, kind of a flat black finish. It closely matches the scope, but it's not an exact match. And then the stock has a flat clear coat on it with some anti-slip in it. So when your hands are wet, your hands won't slip off of the gun. When you're trying to carry it, gives you a little bit better grip. And just wanted to give you a quick look at the rifle in the sunlight. And we're going to look at this target, and I'll tell you what went on here. This was my very first shot right here, and I was aiming at this U. I always like to aim in the middle of these 2 targets in case it's extra high or extra low. It still hits this paper. Once I find where this dot is, I put my crosshairs back where I was aiming, and I chase it down, and then I chase it straight over to the dot. It wouldn't matter if you hit it clear up here. As long as you know where that first impact is, put your crosshairs back where you was shooting, aiming at, and move it up to where you hit. So your point of aim to the point of impact. Move that crosshair up there. The next time you shoot, it brings this whole thing down to your aiming point. Get you right on target the first shot, second shot if you need a couple. If you're way off, it might take an adjustment or two. But if you don't let your gun move in your bags while you're turning your scope dials, one adjustment gets you on the target. So here's our second shot. Here's our third shot. And then, like I said, my fourth shot for the group here, that's the third shot in the group, but it's the fourth shot out of the rifle. I felt it pull when I squeezed the trigger, so we dropped it out a little bit. But all three shots are on the orange dot, so from here to here, we're looking at 1 inch. So that's good enough for this rifle. I don't want to shoot it all day. It's blistering hot. We're not going to get its best performance today anyhow because of the heat. So we're going to call this rifle good, pack it up, ship it off to Paul so that he can start playing with it and get it ready for hunting season. I've got a lot of rifles to build, a ton of work to do, so I don't want to spend a lot of time down here shooting all these guns. But that's what you get when you buy a Hankins custom rifle. And till the next time, guys, I want to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up on the YouTube videos. Visit hanksprecisiongunparts.com. I have started another new business there where we're machining precision gun parts in-house, selling them directly to you, the consumer. So we're cutting out the middleman. You don't have a distributor, you don't have a dealer, you don't have all those other people in there, everybody getting their cut. You can buy them straight from the manufacturer, which is me, and you be the consumer, and you cut out all those middlemen. So look that up, hanksprecisiongunparts.com, and see if there's anything on there you need for your next rifle build. Till next time, fellas, we'll see you later.